Hi! You're probably already making progress in the course. Great job! Now that your knowledge of the problem is progressing, it's time we start looking for solutions. The most important place for you to have your digital privacy are your private messages. You're probably using WhatsApp right now to share everything with your loved ones. But ever since WhatsApp has been taken over by Facebook, we simply cannot trust WhatsApp anymore for maintaining our privacy. You can see more on this in the topic Why Google and Facebook Don't Give a Damn About Your Privacy. But as promised, this video is about solutions. And so I introduce you to Signal, the most privacy-friendly messaging app that's around nowadays. Not only to me, but also to according to whistleblower Edward Snowden and cryptographer Bruce Schneier. In this video, we'll break down why Signal is a great privacy choice, how to set up your Signal settings for optimal privacy, and how to use cool privacy-enhancing features like self-destroying messages and sending view once pictures. But first, let's check if Signal checks all the key values of this course: privacy, open source, freedom of speech, and decentralization. Signal messages are only stored on your device. This means that when you lose your device or delete the messages, they are gone. No cloud storage on a centralized server. So decentralized, check. This is completely different to WhatsApp, where you have all of your conversations stored on a centralized server. Signal is completely open source. This means that everyone, including security experts that are highly advanced in cryptography, can look into the code and see if they support the technical workings behind it. Next to that, Signal is non-profit. There is no big data company behind it, and so it doesn't have shareholders that expect them to make large amounts of money from big data collection. Compare this to WhatsApp, which is not open source, which means you have to blindly trust everything they say. Next to that, WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, that has to make its shareholders happy with a very large revenue. And last but not least, privacy and freedom of speech. Signal is completely encrypted by the highest cryptographic standards. This means that only you and the receiver are able to read the message and all of its metadata. The metadata is either encrypted with a key that's stored on your device or completely absent from Signal's server. WhatsApp uses end-to-end encryption too, but this only applies to the content of your message. WhatsApp does monetize all of the metadata that is connected to your messages. This means WhatsApp is able to monitor and monetize who you talk to, how long, what time, what day, etc. Compared to privacy-friendly messaging solutions, Signal has awesome user-friendliness. All the functionalities you're used to while using WhatsApp are available in Signal, and all of it is protected with end-to-end encryption. Signal also has a lot of other cool features, including erasing all the metadata that is attached to a picture when sending it, so that you'll never accidentally reveal your location. You can also erase sensitive information from pictures by blurring the information, and you can send self-destructing messages once the receiver has read it. Enough Signal promoting for now. Let's dive into the app and its settings. So let's go ahead and set up Signal on my device. This is the very first screen you'll see when setting up Signal. It says, take privacy with you, be yourself in every message, which is a real good way to describe privacy, I guess. It makes you be yourself. You can continue or you can restore a backup. So as I already said, you can create backups in Signal because the messages in Signal are not stored on their server. So whenever you have to switch between devices and you still want to maintain your message history, you should create a backup and restore it. But for now, we're going to create a new account setup. So let's go ahead and continue. Put in my phone number from the Netherlands. And this is one more thing I want to say here is that whenever you are going to create for whatever kind of service, you have to put in your own phone number. If it's a possibility to have to create a phone number or to get a phone number that cannot in any way, shape or form be connected to your personal identity, that's always better. So if you can get a phone number where you didn't have to pay through your banking card that's connected to your personal ID, or you didn't have to put in your personal name or something like that, that's always better. So always try to get your hands on a phone number that's not in any way, shape or form connected to your ID. That being said, let's go further into this. Put in your phone number, and it puts in the code from the SMS text message automatically. And now I have to enter my PIN. Well, what is my PIN? I'll quote a little bit from the Signal website here. Your Signal PIN is a code used to support features like non-phone numbers based identifiers. This means that your PIN can recover your profile, settings, context, and who you've blocked if you ever lose or switch devices. A PIN can also serve as an optional registration log to prevent others from registering your number on your behalf. To enable this, Signal developed Secure Value Recovery, which keeps your social graph unknown to Signal servers. This is unlike other apps and platforms that store this kind of data in plain text on their servers. So, the Signal PIN basically makes it possible so that you can recover certain things, but not your chats. So you can recover your profile, your settings, contacts, and they are stored on Signal server, but not in plain text. They are encrypted. If you, however, do not want to use this at all, you can go to the upper right-hand corner and skip it. If you do want to use it, like me, because I still like it to be able to recover my settings and context, and I've researched Signal deeply enough to be able to trust those guys. So yeah, I want to make use of this feature. You can go in and enter a PIN, but Signal can never ever recover this PIN for you. They don't know what it is. So whenever you forget it, it's your problem, basically. So let's go ahead here and enter a PIN. So what is really important is that it should be a numeric PIN. So you can choose here between alphanumeric and numeric. You can see right here, alphanumeric, numeric. I chose the numeric one, which allows me to create a passphrase. A passphrase, those who are from the cryptocurrency world will know this. You can create a passphrase you can create a sentence from like 20 words. So pick 20 random words, save them somewhere on on a piece of paper or somewhere, put it in a vault, and only get back to it when you need it, when you lose your old device or switch to a new device, because you won't ever need it otherwise. This is really good to do because when you choose a more shorter kind of PIN, like for numbers or something like that, it's really easy to hack. You don't want that with this feature. So please go for a passphrase. Let's continue here. I chose my passphrase and now I'm going further into it. There we are. First name, Wesley. Second name, doesn't matter. And it's optional. And we're here. Signal basically first gives you the option to import your SMSs in your system. There's no added privacy benefit to this. Signal's database is encrypted, but it doesn't make your SMS messages more secure. Signal is really, or SMS is just a real bad choice for privacy. So please don't ever use it if you're doing things where you don't want your identity to be revealed. Let's continue here. I do choose, by the way, to import my my Signal messages, SMS messages into Signal, because it's more easy for me. I just have everything in one place, and that's literally the only reason that I use this functionality. So let's continue here. Right, so I can create a note to myself. This is a functionality that I use a lot because it gives me the possibility to send things to other devices whenever I like to. So now let's go ahead and let me guide you through the privacy settings for setting up the best possible privacy setup. First of all, screen lock. Screen lock is something I always turn on. What screen lock basically does is whenever you have your screen already locked with a PIN or a passphrase or a fingerprint, is it adds an extra layer of security. So whenever you use screen lock, your Signal will also be locked. And you can put a timeout on this too. So you can add a screen lock inactivity timeout. I always set it to 15 minutes. So 15 minutes after I've used my phone, Signal will be locked with it. And then we have the screen security and the incognito keyboard. Screen security basically is blocking screenshots from your conversations, which is a good feature to be having. And the incognito keyboard is basically requesting the keyboard to disable personalized learning. So your keyboard won't be able to be learning from your input for extra privacy. The always relay calls means a better IP obfuscation when calling. Turn this on and only turn it off when you notice a bad audio or video quality during calls. So let's turn this on. And then we also have the read recipes. I dislike them because I don't really care if someone has been reading my messages, but then I also don't care if someone else can see if I've been reading those messages. I respond whenever I have the time to. So that's my personal opinion, and it's better for privacy, but choose whatever you like here. So I turned it off. Same thing goes, and same explanation goes for typing indicators. So both off. And generating link previews, well, comes in handy when someone sends them or you send them to someone else. So I'll turn that, keep it on. Now let's dive into the sealed sender. This is a functionality that came into Signal some time ago. And it's basically now working for every single message in Signal. But not for the messages that are not coming from people who are not in your contact list. So this is what this is all about. A sealed sender is just a functionality of completely hiding who sent a message from Signal servers to make it completely privacy friendly. So, and what you see here is you can display an indicator for when to see if this functionality worked or not. But it's basically for every message now, but not for the messages that are not from people in your contact list. And that's what the second option is all about. I didn't turn on either of them because I always have someone in my contact list sending me a message through Signal. And whenever you click on allow from anyone, there's a incoming extra risk. And Signal says this about it. Users who want to live on the edge can enable an optional setting that allows them to receive incoming sealed sender messages from non-contacts and people with whom they shared their profile or delivery token. This comes at the increased risk of abuse, but allows for every incoming message to be sent with sealed sender, without requiring any normal message traffic to discover a profile key. So whenever you don't expect to receive messages from people who are not in your contact list, don't use this. And last but not least, your PIN. We already kind of talked about this, and you can add an extra layer of security on the bottom of the screen, which is the registration log. If you forget your Signal PIN when you will be registering with Signal again, you'll be locked out of your account for 7 days. So this is when, if you turn on your registration log and you switch between devices, or you're setting up a new device because you lost your old one, you'll have to know your PIN again. If you don't know it anymore, you'll have a problem and you can be locked out of your account for 7 days. So really give it a safe place. Now that's it for the privacy settings. So I'm going to chat with myself for a little bit. And as you can see, in the right hand corner, you can click the 3 dots and you can click disappearing messages. And you can set this to 10 seconds, 30 seconds, how long you want. And I'm setting it to 30 seconds now. I'll type in a quick message, a quick test. 10 seconds, sorry. And you can see this is a quick test. Now this message is not stored on any central server, and you'll see that it'll be disappearing after 10 seconds. And it's gone. Next one is 1 minute. Another message, they'll stay there for 1 minute. One important quick note to be added is that the timer will go in after someone has been reading the message. So now let's set it up to 12 hours. And this one will stay there pretty damn long. Now you can do the same thing with pictures. So this not only goes for texts, but it also goes for pictures. So let's get a picture here. And you have the ability to blur faces. So whenever you don't want to recognize someone that's on the picture, you can blur it away. And you can blur away other things, so like objects or things like that. So that's what I'm showing here. Blur away a couple of objects and you can send the picture straight away. There we go. Okay, so now this picture also will stay there for 12 hours. Let's add another picture here. And this picture, I'll set it up here to like 10 seconds. Yes, there we go. And you'll see that the picture too will disappear within 10 seconds. So if you have a picture that you don't want anyone to save, you can just set up a really small time for someone to see it, and there it is, it disappeared again. So those are some really cool privacy features from Signal itself. So that was it. One thing I'd like to be adding is that Signal has all the functionality that WhatsApp has. So there's no need to worry about that. If you have a question, let me know in the comments down below, and thank you for watching.